Yeah, it's Business 24 on iBrandTV, and I'm still talking with Adeyemi Ajayi. Now, Adeyemi, Nigeria is one of the most culturally diverse countries in the world. There is no doubt. With over 200 million people, and it's also having over 300 ethnic groups with 520 languages. Now, according to a research done by betterup.com, a sense of belonging hugely benefits employees and organizations. Having all-inclusive working environment by building a system that actively embraces cultural diversity contributes to the following benefits. Job performance increases by 56%. Employee turnover decreases by 50%. Employees use 75% fewer sick days. However, some employers feel more comfortable hiring talents with similar culture and values. Now, Adeyemi, here is the question. What is your take on this? And what implications could it have on the overall productivity of the business in question?
Okay, thank you very much. First, I'll say that research has some element of truth, or based on my own observation. I've not done research in that area, and I'll say largely that even the implications are far more than that. It makes organization more competitive. It makes organization a good place to work, and it's also due to leadership instinct and organizational sustainability in terms of its going concern. So I'll say that research, yes. In terms of other benefits, we can even see organizational brands, being projected this time around, resting on the employer's brand, because with a culturally diverse organization, with ethnically diverse organization that is diverse in terms of language, in terms of gender, in terms of different orientation. When I mean orientation, this time around academic orientation, and of course there is a high level of acceptability across the organization. You will see that people are more comfortable working in that environment because you will definitely find your tribe there. And when I mean tribe in quotes, I don't mean tribe in the literary sense. Tribe is that somebody you can connect with, that understands the language.
Okay.
Somebody you can literally really connect with. So I think the organization will perform better. Thank you.
All right. Now, international survey also suggests workers care more for company culture than salary. Furthermore, when it comes to attracting new applicants, a company's culture may be just as important as the salary that the company offers, if not more. What is your take on this? Does it really apply in this part of the world that's talking about Nigeria?
Yeah, sorry, can you take it again?
What I'm trying to say is that in certain parts of the world, companies' culture is placed above salary. And my question here is that, is such a situation applicable to Nigeria?
Yes, it's gradually playing out. Before now, that is not what we have. People place salary above company's culture, but now we see people even resigning due to bad culture, and they rather want to go to an organization with lesser pay, but better culture, where they can have their sanity and also be able to relate with other human beings. There are organizations that pay you hugely, that you know that you are in prison receiving big salary. So now people are beginning to make choices and beginning to determine what works for them. Okay, so I would rather say now people are more interested gradually, not just in the salary, but in the workplace. Thank you.
And which means in its totality, it's applicable to Nigeria. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Now, oftentimes the Chief Executive Officer commissions the Human Resources Department to produce an effective company culture. and the HR designs and implements these core values. However, some experts believe at times a new culture building approach is already in place at some organizations. One in which everyone in the organization is responsible, not necessarily the HR's sole duty. What do you say about this?
Yeah, organizational culture is not HR's responsibility only. HR is also overseeing that, HR can lay that foundation where it doesn't exist. HR can coordinate its existence and drive it and all that. But that's ultimately not HR's responsibility. Everybody's responsibility. If nobody buys into a particular culture and HR is preaching it, it will just be there. It will have no meaning to anybody. So it's not just HR's responsibility, it's everybody's responsibility. And the better organization wake up to see that, the more a particular culture will move around the organization.
Okay, now in drawing the curtain, what should an ideal company culture consist of? What elements, that's in other words, what elements are required in order to achieve growth and productivity in a business?
First, a company culture should have elements that gives everybody the opportunity to identify themselves. A culture that gives room for identity, should be able to identify your personality. That is one. And second is an organizational culture that gives you comfort at the workplace and also make your work easier and also make you to connect with the workforce. So it's a culture that connects with the workforce and the workplace, and then making you more productive. It's also the culture that aligns with the vision of the organization. A very good culture will also be a culture where employees have that freedom to interact, to have high social intelligence, and also be able to deliver on their jobs. And ultimately, the culture of every organization that will be enviable must be such that place them higher above every other organization. So something that projects their brand, yes.
Okay, now, Adeyemi, there is this confusion about the side, the HR takes in a company. Does HR work for the interests of the company or the staff? There is this confusion, like some people say the HR works for the interest of the company, while some others insist that they work for the interests of the staff. Which way do we go? Yeah.
HR is like a door. You don't say whether the door belongs outside or inside. The door is in between. It's serving both purpose. The same door that closes one end is opening the other end. So HR is like a door. The better HR is, they should be able to balance the interest of employees and employers at all time, bearing in mind that they are also employees. Okay, so they have to also protect the interest of the employer. So it's something that should be thoroughly balanced. Many times HR struggle to balance this because it's difficult at times, even management giving HR the free hand to operate. So when HR finds itself in that situation, it becomes a battle. They have to pick. So in a real sense, in ideal situation, HR should balance both interests and also ensure that employer value proposition and employee value propositions are balanced for the ultimate benefit of the growth of the organization and the employee.
Now, Adeyemi, what happens in a situation where the HR comes up with an idea which doesn't go down well with the CEO of the company?
Okay, if it goes down well, the CEO is not the only stakeholder in the organization. Okay, if it doesn't go down well with the CEO should ask the next question: in what interest are these decisions being taken? If it's in the interest of the organization, I think the CEO should give up. Otherwise, it will rather be political for the CEO to see himself as above the organization. So if HR comes up with policy, with initiatives and all that, that's probably, affect the CEO adversely in one way or the other. The question is, what is the ultimate impact on the organization. It's when it has adverse impact on the organization that the CEO should be able to take that stand affirmatively. Otherwise, the CEO should look out for the interests of the organization first before their own personal interest. Thank you.
Now, I said last question. No, because the question you've just answered is seamlessly leading us into this next question, and this ultimately is going to be the last question. Now, as an HR professional, what are most of our HRs here doing wrong that they are not doing right? And what's your advice to the host of HRs out there?
What HR is not doing right is just because at times HR feel that they overrate themselves. Okay, let me put it that way. We overrate ourselves. We don't put ourselves within the context of the organization. We believe that, we should be superpower somewhere, whereas we're just enablers. That's the truth. HR are enablers, and we should see ourselves connecting with people to achieve our own objective. So that's one of the biggest mistakes the HR make. And poor stakeholder engagement. Many HR professionals I've met don't know how to manage stakeholders very well. There's this belief of superiority capabilities on their part, and I think it's very wrong. We're all working together for common purpose, and we should work together to achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adeyemi, for your thoughts and time in the show. Yeah, the topic has been company culture, driving growth and productivity. And my guests on today's show have been Adeyemi Ajayi, who's HR professional. And at this juncture, we are drawing the curtain. Thanks very much for being a part of it all, and look forward to having another interesting edition of Business 24 in no time. I'm Michael Nance.